Welcome to this podcast is making me thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This episode 157. Today's guest hosts the Allow Me to Be Frank podcast, the YouTube sensations Tanks Cooks and RawDogging. He's the brains behind Sports E-Cyclopedia. He's one of the most popular Barstool Sports Personalities or world famous Mets, Devils, and Dolphins fans. And like me and my co-host, an ardent New Jersey Transit hater. And of course, he is a huge Seinfeld fan. Please welcome Frank the Tank Fleming. Frank, thank you so much for joining.
I'm glad to be here. Just looked it up. The episode for 157 for Seinfeld was the butter shave. The season premiere of the last season, where George is getting his new job at Play Now and using the mobility scooter still, even though he's now healed.
Yes, a brutal episode in our opinion. I think we gave it an F, but we'll get into what your thoughts are, Frank. So, an incredible pickup there. So take us back, 1989. You're a freshman, I believe, at Bloomfield High School when Seinfeld came out.
Yeah, but I was. Let me see. Well, the first episode premiered on July 5th, 1989. I actually started high school a few months later.
Gotcha. So take us back to that, 1989. When did you become a fan of Seinfeld? Obviously, those kind of teenage years are formative for, love of sports and obviously a lot of love of comedy. I'm curious when you first kind of got your hooks into Seinfeld.
I'm going to say I actually got kind of an early start on Seinfeld, a lot earlier than a lot of people did. Before a lot of people really got popular. I think that the first episode I really liked. Started, okay, I got to start watching the show regularly. I was around 1991. I wasn't feeling well. I had a bad upper respiratory infection. This is like maybe late January, early February. Just after the Giants won the Super Bowl, and it was the pony remark.
Yes, I had a pony. My sister had a pony. We all had ponies. So what's wrong with that?
It's like he goes. I look at all these people, these pictures of immigrants. I don't see one pony on there. Why would you leave a country with ponies and come here when there's no ponies?
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny too. The pilot episode of Seinfeld, the first really glimpse into the show is him answering the phone. If you know what happened in the Mets game, don't tell me because I taped it, right? So They must have had you hooked pretty early on too with the Mets connection. Another great one, probably, if you ask me, my favorite sports-related Seinfeld moment is on the subway with the naked guy talking about the Mets season, that 92 Mets season. They don't have any speed. They got Coleman. They got no pitch. That whole thing. What are some of your great Seinfeld?
Dwight Gooden, it's not too easy to recover from those rotator cuffs. My favorite sports moment?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's what I was thinking. Another great devil connection.
Kenny Danica. He dated Melanie Smith, or better known as Rachel Goldstein, who caught George with his pants down and made out during Schindler's List. Yeah. Real life, she was hot and heavy with Kenny Danica back in those
nice
early 90s, mid-90s Devils teams.
I never heard that. The Devils, I mean, I obviously love the David Puddy episode. And about maybe 5 years ago, and I have it, the Devils gave out a David Puddy bobblehead.
Yeah.
And this year, the pregame hype video is Patrick Warburton talking about, "You're coming in our house. We're going to show you just what Jersey's all about." So the Devils have really linked into it, Patrick Warburton and the whole Putty thing, and he does the pregame hype video. Like I said, I got a David Putty, and it's full with the face paint and everything. Bobblehead I got about 4 or 5 years ago at the giveaway at the Devils game.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of Seinfeld. Why we love it is kind of that, and being in the New York, New Jersey area, is that connection with sports. We mentioned the Mets, the Devils, obviously. They talk a lot about basketball. What's that?
You guys ever go out to the every August now, or they've done it in August pretty much almost every year. They have Seinfeld night.
The Seinfeld game. Yeah, we almost were a part of it. We were in talks. We couldn't figure out what we were going to do there, but we were definitely.
Yeah, this year they gave out a George Costanza marine biologist bobblehead, and he's on top of a whale.
Were you out there? Yeah, Peterman was out there. He's a big Red Sox fan, but I think he threw out the first pitch or something this year.
Yeah. Did he throw for pitch? I don't know. I know he did the pregame line, the lineups on the PA system.
Yeah, he's certainly got the voice for that. So Frank, I mean, your teams, from the Devils to the Mets we talked about, to Dolphins and Notre Dame. First off, how do you become a Dolphin fan? Was that Marino?
Marino.
And then Mets was good. Did you anchor in a guy like Notre Dame, for instance? That was another, around that same time.
I became a Notre Dame fan later in life.
Really?
Yeah, basically it's the legacy.
Huh.
I kind of used to be kind of a Hurricane fan.
Oh, but the Jimmy Johnson Hurricanes.
Yeah, I kind of got tired of with the stuff they pull. And then they lost their stadium. They took over the Dolphin Stadium, and I don't like that. I don't like them playing on Dolphin Stadium. And I just kind of lost interest in Miami, and I was trying to think of what team should I start rooting for, and I said, you know what, why don't they just go tradition Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with ND. I mean, it's either love them or hate them. So one of the reasons why we caught you was doing the Barstool Dozen, and Seinfeld was your niche. Yep. You were dominating that. You had that one Mullen Springs tough question, but I think Jeff screwed you on those Mets questions, those jersey numbers.
And I mean, you're giving me Dick Schofield?
That's what I was thinking.
Dick Schofield. He didn't even start the season with the Mets and never played a full season with the Mets.
Yeah, that's a rough one. So getting back to Seinfeld, we mentioned the butter shave, and O'Hara mentioned we didn't give it a very good grade. We're not big fans of the later years. We just think the show changed a lot. There's still some funny moments and some funny episodes, great lines. We're partial to earlier years, though.
It what happened at the end, I think, was and Jerry was brilliant in just knowing when to end it. And to me, the height of Seinfeld was the season where they're filming the pilot.
Season 4.
I think that might be one of the single greatest episodes. I mean, you're talking about a television series. I don't think for a sitcom or a comedy, 30-minute comedy show, I don't think there's one singular season of any other show, sitcom, that is better than season 4 of Seinfeld.
It's hard to argue. Yeah, we put 3, 4, and 5 there. But to your point, the arc of the storyline, obviously, and then incredible episodes like the Junior Mints, the implants, the airport, the pick.
I think those are 3, right? The implants and Junior Mints.
Season 4.
That's 4.
Yeah, they weaved them into the end.
Contest is season 4 too.
Yeah, I know the contest was season 4. The pick it was season
Bubble
4.
Boy.
Bubble Boy was season
Cheever
4.
letters. I mean, there's an opera, The Virgin. Yeah, it's packed. You're not wrong. It is packed. You got Crazy Joe Davola. I mean, who are some of your secondary character favorites, like the Crazy Joe Davolas or the Bookmans or these types of people, the ones that kind of the guest star roles, not so much the main 4.
Jay Peterman. I like Jay Peterman. He might have been kind of like the seasons may not have been as great as the other seasons, but Jay Peterman was just so goofy and funny.
Yeah, he's iconic for sure.
I mean, of course, the Costanzas.
Parents are the best. Yeah, parents are the best. Who's having sex with the chicken?
Very relatable. So, Frank, tell us a little bit.
Uncle Leo.
Oh, Uncle Leo, of course.
Of course.
Uncle Leo, hi. Hello.
How'd you get into Seinfeld? Did you just watch? You said you were kind of sick that day. Like, were kids in high school talking about the show? Do you remember anything about? Because this is the pre, no DVR, none of that stuff. It's kind of just people chatting.
The chatter of Seinfeld didn't really start until the Keith Hernandez episode. I think started getting some pulling some people in, and the contest. Those were the two that made Seinfeld water cooler.
Yeah, I agree. The Hernandez episode just made it just take off, in my opinion. Especially for guys like us in New York, New Jersey, just like, all of a sudden we see Keith Hernandez on, like, it's kind of mind-blowing, right?
Yeah, I ranked that up there. I mean, it wasn't as big a moment, but the whole Jay Buhner line too. You mentioned the parents, the Costanzas. That line, when I heard Jay Buhner's name mentioned on TV, I was just like, I cannot.
The wife was crying. The mother's crying, and he goes, Costanza says, "How could you train?" Hey, Buhner. Well, I'm going to tell me about Ken Phelps. Ken Phelps this, Ken Phelps that. I had to have Ken Phelps.
It's just so New York. The show is so New York, so our area. Like the subway thing we were talking about earlier, the Jay Buhner stuff. I mean, this is stuff it's kind of embedded, right, in everything that. Earlier this year, I was walking around part of New York. And I noticed I was on the Lower East Side. I was doing a hot dog review, actually. I was doing a hot dog review at Griff Dog, and I realized I'm a short walk away from the nexus of the universe. First and first. I must be at the next of the universe. That's a great Kramer line.
And there's actually a bar there or something like that that's called the Nexus.
That's good stuff. Yeah, the Nexus of the universe, first and first. That's so good. What I know there's got to be some duds for you. What you remember an episode you dislike? What kind of rubbed you the wrong way? What episode when you see them on TV, you just kind of turn it off. You're like, it's not the best sign. Granted, it's probably still good comparatively, but for Seinfeld, maybe it wasn't your favorite.
I tell you one things I hate whenever I'm watching on Channel 11 WPIX there. The clip show episodes. Hate them. Hate when they come on.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
There's a couple of those. There's the 100th one that Peter Melvin put together. That's not too bad. But the ones that end with, I agree with you on that for sure.
It was like the lead into the last episode.
Yes, those are. I agree. Those are bad. Those are tough to watch. Yeah.
I don't like the clip shows.
What else? You sit through the Frogger, Frank? I mean, give us a couple that you can't, like the '93 Mets. You hate, right? Give me some Seinfeld. You still love the team, but what episode don't you like?
I'm trying to think of some ones that really I don't like. I forgot the name of the episode. It's the one that when they showed it the first time, they showed it in reverse.
Yeah, the old reverse one. Yeah. That's a rough one to get through. Yeah. The gimmick was that the all-day sucker that Kramer was eating got bigger as the episode got long, which is, I guess that was part of the joke, but I thought that was a terrible episode.
Yeah. Yeah, again, those are later years. If there's a Seinfeld character you relate most to, who would it be? Of the four, I guess.
I don't know, probably Costanza, because I have no fucking luck and my parents are fucking insane. And I'm glad now I have a 2,500 mile buffer out in Rexburg, Idaho.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you need that buffer. That's great, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean Costanza is one for the ages, right? I mean his all-timer, between my mother caught me to I was in the pool, the whole St. Vandalay, Costanza. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much there to take in with George.
Oh, did he give me the middle finger?
Oh, the Tartable, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking about that. I mean, you're a big Met fan. They obviously start with a lot of Met stuff, the Hernandez stuff, the stuff on the subway we talked about. In the pilot, in the cable, the baby shower, he gets cable to watch Mets on cable. But then they make the switch when George gets the job with the Yankees to do a lot more Yankee stuff. Was that something that rubbed you the wrong way, or are you still just a fan of just watching Steinbrenner?
I was a fan of it.
Yeah.
The Yankees obviously were a bigger team at the time. I mean, who are the Mets going to bring out? Rico Brogna?
Well, the funny thing is, that was before the Yanks became the Yanks. I mean, it was,
No, at the end it was. In fact, don't you remember when George was trying to get the job with the Mets? And he was going around the parking lot with this World Series trophy?
Yeah. Wearing Babe Ruth's uniform, the whole thing, yeah.
Yes. And rubbing, like, peanut butter and jelly on it.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We had Mr. Morgan on the show. Remember Mr. Morgan? He actually, George's boss, he actually worked in real life at Yankee Stadium and helped, like, the actual Mr. Steinbrenner. So a lot of these things come full circle. It's pretty funny. All right, so Frank, let's get to the rant, right? The rant that kind of changed your life, if you will, maybe. But New Jersey Transit, been there. Believe me, I'm still there every day.
We both hate it.
So, I mean, iconic for sure. But, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you probably did that 100 times in your life, but there's never a camera there, right?
Nope. New Jersey Transit is so bad. And
the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world is New Jersey Transit.
I mean, last week, let me see if I can find it on my phone. Last week I was driving in and I just happened to just look over. I mean, I'm on a train heading into the city in the morning, heading to the office over here in New York, and let me see if I can find this picture. And I'm sure you all know what this is like. You've all seen this. Let me see if I can find the picture. As I scroll through, I take all these slideshows, and so let me see if I can find the picture. Find the picture. Hold it. Mm-hmm. Let me see. I'm still looking for it. But the train windows. The train windows of New Jersey Transit. I don't think they have ever seen one single solitary soap or water. The only water these trains ever see is probably rain.
Yeah,
This is a train window for New Jersey Transit.
I've said this 100 times. If you ride the New Jersey Transit for 1 week, I give you 1 week riding the New Jersey Transit, it'll break you. You will not even understand how bad it is unless you ride it.
I don't care how much.
Give me 1 week.
I pay 20. Well, to park would be $30, and I don't like driving on the highway, and it's like and then you got to like set time limits and stuff. So, and if I get stuck here late, then I have to try to find a late train, which the late trains run like every 2 hours. And then you have so I end up Ubering to Secaucus most days, and back home from Secaucus. Because going through Newark Penn Station,
it's hell. It's hell on earth, man. It's terrible.
Newark Penn Station makes New York Penn Station. The Penn Station everyone knows, so everyone always makes fun and mocks because it's filthy and dirty. And yeah, it's filthy and dirty in New York City. Compared to Newark, Penn Station in New York, by under Madison Square Garden, dark, dingy, dirty, is Buckingham Palace compared to Newark Penn Station.
100%.
It is now. They improved it, the New York one, but yeah, Newark, forget about it.
In Newark Penn Station, there's very few escalators, and so you have to. So and I have trouble walking upstairs. So to get up to the platform, I have to take an elevator. There is such a smell of urine that is now permanently stained the metal floors of these trains that they try to put bleach on it, and all you get is a combo smell whenever they clean it. It is like bleach mixed with urine, And then there's the smell of feces, the smell of shit. And I've actually been on a car, saw an elevator car that literally had a hunk of shit.
Hey, maybe some guy had uromycetitis. You know what I mean, Frank?
I mean, the hellscape of North Penn, and you get the platform. There are no benches except for the shelter area, and the shelter area is nothing but homeless. I was there one time, and there's a guy going, "I'm blind, help the blind brother, help the blind man, ma'am, help the blind young boy, and you have a nice looking boy." I mean, I could tell just by seeing it, feeling him. I'm blind. Thank you, my brother. I mean, it was so obvious he wasn't blind. Help me, I'm blind. And it felt like $1 has come. Thank you for the $5.
Well, you're more like Kramer there, because Kramer in the Subway episode goes, "That guy's not blind," when he goes asking for money.
That's true.
Well, Frank, you should get come on, Barstool should get you like a Francesa. Who's Francesa's old driver? Julio or somebody?
Julio, yeah.
Yeah, drive you around or something. That must have been fun meeting Big Mike, huh? A few
yes, it was.
months back.
It was. It's not too bad. If the trains are running on time.
If
yeah, exactly. Big if.
It's a 10-minute ride from Secaucus to Madison Square Garden, and I'm just
but to get out to Shea, it takes forever. It's a pain in the neck.
I'm starting to connect with people to do that. I actually through Jenks had a driver take me home. That named John, he was able to get us home for a couple times. So that's starting to be arranged. When I go to Devil games, I just drive myself. I got a parking pass to my Devils game with my Devil tickets, and for me, it's a 20-minute drive without traffic to the Prudential Center.
Is Brodeur your all-time guy?
Yes.
Who's your all?
Yes.
No doubt.
Yep.
And the 95 team?
95 team will always be special, but to me, my favorite Devils team is the 2000 team.
Nice.
Why is that?
just because the way Scott Stevens laid out. I thought maybe Stevens might be your favorite Devil. I figured it's Brodeur though. But
and what's funny is I graduated college during those playoffs. It took me a few years. I took a gap year. Then I went to a 2-year school, which I did. It was more like 2.5-year school. Then I was 2.5 years at Montclair State. Ended up taking one last course that I needed. One last course I didn't realize I needed for. So I graduated in May of 2020. The Devils were down 3-1. The graduation ceremony was the morning of Game 5. Game 5 was actually in Philadelphia. And while lining up to walk out to graduation, the commencement from Montclair State, I was lined up near the Zamboni, and I sat on top of the Zamboni. The Devils won the next 3 games, won the Stanley Cup, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's incredible, man. That's great to hear. Those Devils teams that got me hooked too. That the '94 year got me hooked, and then the '95, obviously, and the rest, like you said, is history. That's a great story. Yeah, these stories. I mean, it's just while we're on it, though, there's Jimmy V at the ESPYs, then there's you at the Barstool Awards, man. That speech you gave at those Barstool Awards, I tell you, that was something else, man. That was, you could tell that was something that you were definitely put your heart in. It's so great to see the success you've had.
Yeah, I mean, I figured a good speech to make. It was an interesting night, and just to give a good speech, and that's just what was in my head.
Were you a Barstool guy, Frank? Like 20 years ago? Like, did you envision any of this happening? I'm just curious.
Well,
I'm a big fan.
I went to school for broadcasting, and I just couldn't find a job. I ended up being a court clerk, and then the rant happened. Barstool gave me a little bit of a part-time gig, and I did that for 3 years, and I finally I've full-time now, about 3 years now.
Cool. And you're still working on your Sports E-Cyclopedia?
That's on hiatus right now. I don't know where I'm going with that right now.
All right.
It's impressive anyway.
Yeah, I do love it. I'm looking at like Atlanta Brave team history here.
Yeah. What I need is someone to help me rebuild it again, but make it easier to update. And somebody was supposed to help me, and they pulled out.
Okay, anyone out there listening, man, give a shout out to Frank because I think that thing is amazing. Yeah, keeping those things going is hard, man. There's a lot.
Yeah,
that goes
now
into that.
I'm walking. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm seriously thinking about doing a 30 ballpark tour in 2024. All 30 Major League Baseball ballparks.
That'd be sweet, man. That's something we look forward to for sure. What just to touch back on Seinfeld because that's our wheelhouse. A lot of the stuff you were just talking about, the whole commute and just there's as Jerry said, there's no the way in New York. There's traffic all the time, both ways, right? It's embedded in us, and a lot of people said that show was like too New York when it first came out and everything, but it does epitomize that. There is that.
Everything is New York in that show. I mean, it is probably the most quintessential New York City television show of all time. Just like Seinfeld is the most quintessential New Jersey show of all time, Seinfeld is New York through and through. I mean, and the great thing about Seinfeld is we were talking about just how many sports episodes there are, and it was always like there's almost like there was like one sports mention all the time. It was like, the ball boy.
The U.S. Open, and go ahead.
I mean, it's just the deaf lineswoman there, the lip reader. That was his episode. The lip reader.
The
lip reader.
Marley Matlin. Yeah. It's really good too. When Kramer goes to the fantasy camp, I love that they throw out, Moose Scourin. They throw out the Cleet Boyer. They don't just stick with just the Mickey Mantle. It's just those and Joe Pepitone. Built Central Park, like you said.
Built Central Park. just just out of nowhere, just like your references.
Oh yeah, well, it's like Mickey Mantle corked his bat, referring to what's her name getting fake boobs, right? I mean, it's everything. It's just incredible.
Joe DiMaggio at Dinky Donuts.
Dinky Donuts, yeah.
Dinky Donuts. The guy slept with Marilyn Monroe. You think he's going to be at Dinky Donuts?
Well, it's funny. There was an article that DiMaggio's granddaughters love Seinfeld. There was rumors that he was actually going to be on the show, but never came to fruition. But and even like Bob, I think they made it feel real, right? They involved Bob Shepard when they had the Yankee games, or even Joel Rifkin in the Giant Stadium.
At the time, Bob Shepard also did Giant games, and he's the one that goes, Joel Rifkin.
Right, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
He at the time, and I love the clip there. They must have paid NFL films where they had like LT, like
LT. LT. Yeah, not everyone picks up on that Bob Shepard. You got to know it's Bob Shepard. That's great.
Yeah, how are you not?
How about the Rizzuto keychain?
Oh yeah, Rizzuto keychain. Yeah.
Squeezes his head. He says, "Holy cow!" And the car is going over the pothole. Holy cow! Holy cow!
They don't make him like Phil anymore, huh, Frank? Leaving the Yankee game to beat the traffic, like
the best.
Although I know stories about Phil Rizzuto. The guy threw dimes around like they were manhole covers.
Oh yeah?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. There's a bowling alley that was in Clifton, New Jersey, not too far from Bloomfield.
Yeah.
We're Romance Emporium. I don't know if you know that area.
Route 346 over there, yeah.
It's Route 3, yeah. It's Stuyvesant. They're now building a Stu Leonard's over there.
Yeah.
Well, where that is, about 50 years ago in the 60s, Yogi Berra and Phil Rizzuto owned a bowling alley. And they said that if Yogi Berra came, and this is when players didn't have enough money. I mean, this is probably late 50s, early 60s. If Berra was there, drinks on the house, drinks flowed. It was like, hey, yeah, come on here, you come over here. When Phil Rizzuto was there, you couldn't get water without paying for it.
Wow.
And I know this guy who was like he was the landscaper, and he was working, and at Fogel's house, and he was thirsty, so he started drinking out of the hose. Rizzuto cut off the water to his hose because he was drinking out of it.
Wow.
He's got a little Costanza in him, huh? A little cheap?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
The money's
Frank,
for it.
did it bother you that Gooden and Strawberry became Yankees?
A little bit, but that was when you see one thing you got to know about George Steinbrenner. Well, he likes back pages, and he hated the '86 Mets because they dominated back pages. He hated those Met teams of the '80s. He was jealous of them. So when the Mets fell apart and those players became available, he couldn't help but. Do you realize how many '86 Mets actually wore Yankee uniforms? Rafael Santana briefly played for the Yankees. Bob Ojeda played for the Yankees. David Cohn, Strawberry, Gooden. They hired Lee Mazzilli as a base coach. I mean,
Right.
Mel Stoudemire was the Mets pitching coach he was a Yankee before a Met, but he was the Mets '86 pitching coach. He ended up working for the Yankees. I mean, Steinbrenner had a just deep envy of the '86 Mets, and in the '90s, after he got suspended for following Dave Winfield, and he still kind of was a little rowdy in the '90s, but he really settled down. He really settled down, and in the mid '90s, he became Father Flanagan, where it was like, I'm going to help all these ex players. He signed Steve Howe.
Oh yeah, Steve Howe.
And if you remember Steve Howe,
Yeah, it's cokehead.
Yeah, I mean Steve Howe, I think wanted to literally go down on his knees and snort the bass lines. Steve Howe used to do lines of coke in the bullpen when he was at the Dodgers.
Yeah, Howe was always.
The '80s, man. Gooden,
Hernandez.
So George Steinbrenner had that Father Flanagan phase, and it actually ended up paying off. It made him I think it helped rehabilitate his image and help the Yankees win. I like the episode. There's another one day with Seinfeld is talking to George Steinbrenner. He goes, I fired all these managers. Billy Martin, Lou Piniella, Billy Martin, and at the end he goes, Buck Showalter. Oh no! You didn't hear that from me. That is just as Buck Showalter is about to get fired, and he ended up getting fired.
Yeah, that's a classic too. What are your thoughts on the finale of Seinfeld? A lot of fans go back and forth with it. Curious what you thought about the finale. You didn't like the clip show, so I'm wondering if you actually liked the finale episode.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. That's kind of how we feel. I would like it into the Super Bowl. It's like, everyone watches the Super Bowl and not everyone watches the whole regular season. Everyone watched the finale, but they weren't watching Seinfeld all the way through. So
I would give it a C. Not a B, not a D, not an F. A C. I mean, it had some funny moments. Bringing back the characters was interesting.
Agreed.
And now I don't know if they're ever going to do a reunion.
Jerry brought something up the other day.
I don't know.
I don't like it.
We'll see. But
leave it alone. I think I gave it a C or something like that. But that's a fair grade.
What would have made it better? At the end, when they're waiting for the verdict, the courtroom changes, and they find out that they're not in a criminal court, that they're in purgatory. And instead of being on trial for their freedom, they're dead. The plane crashed. And at the end, they realize that they're walking down the hallway. They realize, wait a second, he goes, oh no, this hasn't been a criminal trial. You actually died.
A little dark, Frank. A little dark
And
there.
It's a Larry David twist. I mean,
And-
Larry Charles twist.
And at the end, when the verdict comes out there, you guys are terrible people. Look at how you live your lives. I find you guilty and sentence you life in eternity in hell.
You would like that one, huh?
That if they would have pulled that, that's a twist I always thought about would have been funny at the end. Instead of being on and having a trial where everyone's there, and this way, if they would have done this, we have one last witness, Susan. You killed me. You bought those cheap envelopes? They were poison, George. They were poison. And the reason you did it is because you never wanted to marry me. They could have thrown her in there. And it would have been just, instead of being on trial, it would have been hell. You see if they went to hell.
If we ever get Jerry on, we're going to bring that up and tell him Frank the Tank thought this would be a better idea.
You knew you were trained?
No, Harold lives right by the trains. The New Jersey Transit. The New Jersey Transit gets us again.
I used to live near a train, so I know that sound.
Yeah.
That's a staple in our podcast. Every episode, the train goes by.
So speaking of Seinfeld, Jerry himself, I know you probably a season ticket holder now, right, for the Mets, or you get a package? You ever, well, now that you have kind of Barstool access, any interactions with Jerry, or can Tim Portnoy set that up?
Not yet, but maybe one day.
That'd be cool. You'll show him the bottle opener, right, Frank?
Yeah. If I have it, I have it by my computer right now.
Good to hear.
We don't want to keep it too long. We don't get back to the live stream, but any thoughts you got on any episodes that you've kind of jogged your memory on? We're thinking about. We're trying to find your maybe your top 5 episodes. Put you on the spot a little bit. If you can come up with maybe your top 5 list.
I don't know all the episode titles, but I do know the boyfriend Keith and Anna's episode. That's absolutely got to be on my top 5. The face painter, obviously, is in my top 5. The contest, I mean that was just so outrageous and outlandish and crazy. What was it? I don't know.
Dan Marino wasn't in any episodes. I know the route you're going here.
I know what episode that I really liked. That's like I don't know the name of the episode. But it's the episode where George pushes the old woman down and
the fire.
Oh, that's the fire.
Oh, the fire. All right, the fire.
Yeah. Seemingly,
that's the same episode with the pinky toe. Ow, my pinky toe.
That's a great one too. Kramer's driving the bus. Yeah.
The Bubble Boy. That's also a great episode. That's definitely my top.
That's a great list, man.
You like all the classics, man. Appreciate it.
I mean, another good episode early on. And like I said, I don't know all the titles off the top of my head.
Yeah. It's all good.
The Bus Boy. That was the name of this episode. The Bus Boy.
Yeah.
The Bus Boy fired.
No one ever beat the Van Wyck. That's another great New York. When Elaine comes out, no one ever beat the Van Wyck.
It's like he walks. Kramer walks into the guy's apartment there and leaves the door open. La porta. There's another Kramer's just smiling like this. The door is open. My cat got away. So they're looking for his cat. And then turns out the restaurant ends up getting an explosion, kills the busboy that replaced him. And George thinks he's going to go kill him. He goes, "You saved my life. And I got a better job at higher pay." And then Elaine's ne'er-do-well is like beating him and him getting into a fight.
Yeah, that's the episode that Larry David cites as the episode where they figured out how to put it all together. That fight in the hallway you just mentioned is the first time they brought it all together. All the characters came together at the end of that fight. And, yeah, it's up to the cat now. I
mean, that guy, the guy's just like laying in bed, goes, "I ain't doing nothing. No, get out of here! No.
That's
Elaine,
Elaine's coming out episode. That's when she does that whole running around, like you said. That's one of her best episodes.
there are some good monologues in Seinfeld. Like Jerry, he was angry that day. I mean, that's one of the great monologues. The comedic monologue. Cinnamon vodka, lesser vodka. No, it isn't. Whenever it is, they went to cinnamon, and it's like, ooh, they have a black and white cookie. Look to the cookie, Elaine. Look to the cookie. I mean, such great lines in some episodes. And Elaine, if it wasn't for that 20-car pileup, I would have beaten Van Wyck. But now that ne'er-do-well is downstairs and he's parking the car.
Nobody ever beat the Van Wyck.
Nobody ever beat the Van Wyck.
You look like a Lloyd Braun guy too, Frank, with the old elbow move.
Yeah, the Lloyd Braun.
I mean that's the show, right? It's relatability. They're kids. They're kids. As simple as that. Who love sports and talking about women. That's kind of the show in a nutshell, right?
And the episode with the Desperado. The guy always just hear Desperado. That episode is packed. That is one of the episodes that's just like packed full. I mean, you got the Kramer going out to Japanese guys, and they burn through all their money, so they have to sleep in his drawers. They got Todd Gack, which Kramer's supposed to be jealous of Todd Gack. Meanwhile, he's got checks that are like royalty checks for like 13 cents, and he's like writing out all these royalty checks, and then he can't open the thing, and he like tries to beat it down, and it's like then he goes in there and he goes tries to make "Witchy Woman" a song, and then they're at the hospital, and the Todd Gack is like dying here, like D doctor, and you hear ooh witchy woman. Kind of like Mitch McConnell.
Super terrific happy hour. Oh my gosh. Yeah, amazing. That was your question on the dozen, actually, if I recall correctly. Witchy woman. You answered witchy woman. Oh, witchy woman, he says.
Yeah. What was it? The Merv Griffin show.
That's a crowd favorite.
He goes, scandals and animals. And meanwhile, he's playing with her toys and making her pass out.
Incredible.
Oh man, Frank, this is we know you got a lot to do tonight with the live stream. Can't thank you enough for spending some time with us. We're happy for your rise, man. It's great.
It's incredible. It's so great to see.
All right,
people.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for your time, Frank, and all the best and great success, man. You're amazing and a real inspiration, man.
All right, thanks.
Best of luck.
Frank. Have a good night.
See the Devil or Met game soon, buddy.
All right, see you around.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.